Here's what most companies and organizations around the world will never admit to you, which is that the best closers and the best salesmen in the world, they don't come from a perfect CV. They come from chaos and pressure. They come from people that have certain personality traits that basically reflects hunger and adaptability, and someone who has nothing to lose in general and adapts this kind of killer mindset, which basically tells themselves all the time, if they don't do the work, if they don't perform on the highest elite level or become the best at what they can possibly do, which means that they cannot be average, they have to be elite, they will lose their spot and they will basically not be able to survive. And that mindset is, my friend who are watching this video, something that is extremely necessary to get to the top. Like, I remember when I was 18 and I just left my country, I left with 15 euros in general. And I remember like being super lonely. I remember not having nobody except my family. I decided to leave my country with the hope of actually achieving a better life full of freedom because I never fit in. I never felt like the university path and the traditional path in general was for me, even though my entire family, they are nurses, they're in the health sector, they're farmers. You know, I come from a very traditional type of mindset, which is that you have to go get a job and you have to follow and get a CV and a perfect sheet, a paper that tells you how good you are as a person and what skills you actually have. Now, I never felt the need to basically go that route, because I literally saw so many people that made it without it. And the worst part is that I never felt home when I sat in that school bench and I was going to become a journalist, which was basically my dream at the time, because I love to talk to people and I love to communicate. And I love to be able to write stories and tell stories just like I'm doing to you right now, and what my entire life has been about, because it's been full of stories and experiences. And I just realized that when I was sent to UK to basically cold call 500 realtors per day, I never knew what I was doing. I was always a person who was able to adapt to the situation, figure everything out, be able to think outside the box and use my mind and my intuition to learn everything, because all the skills you've ever wanted to learn is something that you can acquire. So I was just set to the task, coming from a country like Norway, super cold, super comfortable, where everyone lives very comfortably, right? If you lose your job, you can literally get social support and free aid from the government. To going to UK, leaving my country with 15 euros in general, and then being set to cold call 500 realtors per day in the United States of America, not knowing anything about the market, not knowing anything about how to cold call, how to set appointments, which led me to doing remote closing later down the line. Basically not knowing nothing about the mentor that I was basically set out to work with. I just met this guy like 1 month before. Regardless, I still figured it out. I still managed to, within 1 week, to become a master at cold calling and appointment setting and sales, because I developed a mindset of a wild card, of a person who never fit the system, who never felt like he belonged to the traditional route and the traditional way of thinking, but someone who went outside the system, someone who tried something different, but was called super crazy. And that's what's led me to build a 1 million euro a year recruitment agency dating until this day, which has scaled this year, having done over $2 million in online sales, and having started and failed over 10 different companies from the age of 17 to 18, just before I left my country, without making no money, being 3 years without making a single dime, but still trying, still having the hunger, the discipline to keep going, right? And that's exactly what leads me to the first step right here, which is for you to become this person who can actually do whatever they set their mind to, who have something they love to do, who have a purpose inside of them, to basically become the best at what to do and never settle for average. And that is by being a wild card. And a wild card is, first of all, someone who is not feeling that they actually belong to the system, someone who feels like they're a little bit outside, because everyone talks about one thing. Everyone talks about to get a job, to go to university, to live a normal life, to do normal things, and just do what everyone else does, because that's how they see success. But a wild card, he follows his own path. He follows his own intuition. He does exactly what he feels like doing. He's able to think outside the box and be a person who figures it out and loves to be different. He don't like to be like everybody else. And that's what defines a wild card. And that's exactly what it was for me as well. My entire family, they wanted me to go and study. They wanted me to be a person who became just like my family members, which was a normal A4 person, go to work, go home, do the dishes, and go to sleep, and follow this time after time. My problem was that didn't fit my personality traits. I would have hated that type of lifestyle because I could just not see myself doing those things. And I always felt outside because of it. I always felt outside when I was sitting on the school bench. Well, I was doing great. I was getting good grades. I just did not feel home. I didn't feel like I was serving my purpose. And that's ultimately what led me to a wild card, because I all of a sudden just made a decision to leave my country. And later on the line, I went to build a 2 million euro empire, and not because of my skills, because I never was qualified for nothing. I don't have any university degrees and nothing that I have done and made money with. I don't have anything of university degree with recruitment. I was just set out to Spain in 2023, and I was paid 2,000 euros a month to cold call a bunch of people every single day, just like in the UK. But I quit my recruitment job 8 months later, and then I started a recruitment agency. I did 100,000 the first year, 1 million this year in general. And I also did 1 million euro in sales for the recruitment agencies that I was hired for. Not getting paid for my work and not my potential, but because I was able to figure out an impossible solution. I was set out to do a thing that I had no idea about. I literally got the job and I was told, just call, just figure it out, just be creative. I loved it, but I hated it at the same time because it was stress. But that stress and that pressure and not being qualified, but figuring it out and thinking outside the box and adapting led me to the person that I am today. An entire timeline of histories that I've been through and experiences has built me. Christopher Overkill has built my mindset. And that is what a wild card is. Someone who is not part of the average system, the average pack of sheeps that follow what everyone else does, but someone who is willing to be a bit different, to go outside the perimeters of what a normal person is, to be somebody who fully taps into their potential and is not afraid to be themselves and go after to become an elite person. And often someone who's been through extremely difficult situations where they have to perform, they have to figure things out, they have to be creative, they have to think outside the box, and they can just not give up. There is no average, there's no in between. There is either homeless or there's to the millions, right? Just like it was for me. When I was in Greece and I lived on 2 euros per day, for example, that I've talked about many times with my family, with my people, I was still working 12 hours per day and I was hoping every single day. I woke up with the same situation, right? I still had the same shitty, dealing with depression and dealing with all of these things and frustration because I ran out of money. I was not knowing if I was going to make money the next month, but I still was able to figure it out and I still was able to be hungry, adaptable, thinking outside the box, being creative, being action taking, because I knew that if I did not work, I would remain homeless and it was just gonna get worse because I had nobody to go to. I could have gone back to my country at any point, but I still didn't because I still believed in the vision. I still believed that if I went through those hard things, that would build a character out of me, just like it has. Because you in general, when I was homeless in Greece 2 months after, because I had nothing to go back to. It was either going to be homeless, live on 2 euros per day, and it was just going to get worse and I had the chance to go back to my country. But 2 months later, because I stayed adaptable, I stayed hungry, and I never gave up because I believed in my potential. I believed in myself and I wanted to be different. I did not want to listen to the naysayers. I wanted to achieve my full potential, even though people called me crazy. I made 4,000 euros after 2 months of being on the streets. And then 1 week later, I made 3,000 euros. I closed 2 real estate marketing agency customers, which was the agency I basically started at the time. And that shows you that if you can, you will. And here's the thing. Most people don't realize it themselves, but it's actually extremely simple to succeed. You just have to tap into something that is uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable and live to your true self, and don't pay attention to what everybody else says you have to do, because you have to follow your heart, and you need to be somebody who actually is able to tap into your own mind and really ask yourself, close your eyes and ask yourself, like, what do you really want to do? What is it that makes you happy doing? Do you want to be average? Do you want to live the life your entire family have lived, even though there's a bunch of opportunities online right now to just travel the world, be flexible? Like, I remember I didn't want that life. I didn't want the life to be average. I didn't want every day to be just normal. I wanted a little bit of spontaneous. I wanted my life to be a little bit actionable. I want to have variation. I wanted to be flexible. And all of these things led me to taking those decisions, right? And adapting to that mindset. And this is definitely not for everybody. Not everybody is able to be this person. But that's the thing. Not everybody is meant to. But the thing is, like, the best salespeople and closers in the world are genuinely people who have been through extremely hard, difficult things, or has been put into situations where they had no chance to perform. Otherwise, it was the opposite, which was either homeless, like myself, or the worst case scenarios that can happen to them. Or it was the opposite, which was extremely successful, right? There is no average with wildcards. Wildcards are not settling for average. Wildcards are settling either for the best or it's nothing. It's either all in or it's nothing. That's exactly what it was for me. Like, I remember, like, I was thinking to myself, like, if I didn't become successful, I would rather be in Thailand and live on 5 euros per day and pay 100 euros per month for rent and be free, rather than go back to Norway, work as a journalist and make $50,000 a year, 30,000 after taxes, and have a normal family and be stuck in a job I hated, not being able to just move around freely around the world, and looking up to a boss that I felt didn't even know more than me or didn't have a better mindset than me. Or I had to become extremely successful later down the line by just keeping my mindset up going, being a wild card, doing other things that's outside the systems that people called me crazy for doing, but I stayed true to myself, and I built absolutely everything that I have right now based on those premises. So here's another thing as well that I want to discuss in this video. Now, a lot of people think that mindset alone will take you to the goals, right? So if you're a person who has nothing to do with sales before, you have no sales experience, right? And a company want to hire you, or you have nothing about sales, right? Just assumes you're a total blank person, right? And you go in to learn about sales. That mindset alone and potential can make you become a remote closer, for example, making $5,000 to $10,000 a month, living from anywhere in the world, being able to be super flexible, do whatever you want to do, mostly decide your own working hours, depending on the company you're placed with. That is totally wrong, because mindset itself means nothing without following a system as well. And that's obviously lead me to step number 2, which is basically that in Overkill Performance, which is my company where we help total beginners become elite closers, or people that are taking sales calls for existing businesses, making 20 to 50 to 100 grand per month already, which means $20,000 to $50,000 a month to $100,000 a month, or in euros, and already have products that are helping people, or services, or something they're offering to a certain avatar or a group of people that they need people to basically sell to, right? And if you know nothing about sales, right, the first thing is obviously acquiring that mindset, just like we covered in the first part of the video. But now the system is what's gonna take you to become a closer, right? Which is the logical sense of things, right? So basically, you're gonna learn by doing, right? So the 5-step system that at least we in Overkill Performance use is extremely simple, right? And the first thing is goal setting and mindset, right? And learning basically how to reprogram your mind into becoming the person you want to be, someone you visualize being, and how to basically go away from thinking about like safety and a plan B, which is not anywhere in the wildcard space at least, which is a normal person who always has a safe option, to thinking like, if I don't perform today, I'm out on the streets, to developing that type of mindset. That's what we're gonna teach you, how to become a master at that, which put me where I am today, right? And then in step number 2, we're going to literally teach you how to learn about sales psychology and human behavior. So you're gonna learn about psychology, right? And how people think and why people make certain decisions they do, right? And what makes them buy in the first place. And you're gonna learn about emotional intelligence here as well as sales psychology, right? What makes a person interested to buy something? Why do someone buy something? And you're gonna use this psychology to your advantage. And also about how sales really is about, that it's not the traditional way it used to be, which is trying to convince and talk about how great your offer is, but rather tap into people's emotions and their interests and their current pain points and desired outcome and dreams, and use that to basically make them realize that if they don't buy from you, they're missing out on something extremely big. They're missing out on everything they could have ever wished for. And make them understand that going for you, they have to see you as the expert. They have to see you as an authority, right? Someone who also are empathic and wants you to help them. And that's the psychology we want. We don't want people to be forced or felt like they're being forced to buy. We want people that feel like they already sold themselves. We want them to sell themselves. And they think that it was a good decision actually buying from you, right? That is a sales psychology we're gonna teach you with Overkill Performance. And the third step here, which is extremely important as well because it is a framework, is to follow the 7-step cold close, right? So we're gonna teach you the beginning of a sales call where you build trust already in the first 4 seconds of a sales call, which is extremely important when someone is gonna buy from you, because people buy from people, whether you like it or not. You can be the greatest person at what you do, and you can still struggle to get sales because people just don't like you, or they don't trust you, they don't relate to you. So we're gonna teach you how to create a super strong connection with a person you're talking to, with, again, psychology, with rapport building, and how to basically make them committed and listening to you and seeing you as the expert, right? And getting that special connection with you. 2, how to hit their pain points, put them in an emotional, painful situation where they feel actual pain from going through the problem they're going through, and diagnosing what they're struggling with, right? And their challenges. And then helping them over to the desire side, where you're gonna be asking them about their goals and make them build a vision in their mind about what is possible to achieve with the offer you're offering. And then essentially, we're gonna move over to closing and objection handling, right? Where it's gonna be more about making them committed and making an investment into you and why you are the best option, right? With all of these different parts stacked into one type of framework and structure that you are gonna follow, right? And how to handle objections if they are still insecure about buying from the offer you're pitching, right? As a salesperson or a remote closer. And the 4th step is actually super simple. It's how to present the offer in the best way possible and the easiest way possible, right? For the person that you're talking to over to a sales call, to understand that what you have to offer is going to be the best possible challenge. It's going to be the best. So the thing that you're offering is going to be the best choice that they could have ever made, right? And make that super valuable for them to actually see ROI, or return on investment, in whatever state that might be, whether that would be in their money, relationships, health, wealth, whatever, right? And the 5th step is super simple. That's where we in Overkill Performance, when we've trained you to become a closer, right? Based on you being a wild card, you being hungry, you thinking to yourself, there's no way going back. You have to become the best at what you do. You have to become an elite performer. So then teaching you that mindset and how to set those goals, to teaching you all about sales and modern day sales and ethical selling, to basically being placed as a closer with an actual business, which is where you essentially will make the money, right? And where you can make $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 a month, taking sales calls, that you take for a successful business like a coaching business or agency or a SaaS business, which we have a bunch of connections with, to place you with an offer and a product or a service, something that someone are selling that you actually believe in and you believe that will provide a lot of value to people that are interested in buying it already, right? So we're gonna place you with a business that have financial stability, that are making money already, that just needs this type of person who are you, who knows how to sell, who loves to communicate, who loves to help people, who likes to provide value. And then you're gonna be collecting a commission anywhere from 10 to 20% off every deal you close. And that's basically what we're gonna teach you essentially, right? And this is extremely, extremely simple, right? Because you get the best offers possible with people that are already interested in, and all you need to do is to show up to the actual call and close that customer, right? And follow a framework, which we're gonna teach you in Overkill Performance, and program your mindset to becoming the best version of yourself possible, right? And extending your wildcard mindset, essentially, which is what we're going to do. And this later down the line is what's gonna basically make you collect commissions of $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 a month, because you're gonna be getting commission about 10 to 20% usually of every single 3 to 5,000 to 10,000 to 20 to 50,000 euro deal or dollars that you actually close for every single customer you manage to sell to, which is amazing, right? So that was basically it for this video right here. If you essentially want to learn more about how you can actually become a remote closer and use this mindset in general, and if you are a wildcard, a person who believes in doing different things than the system tells you to do and try to be a bit different, then you can go to my Instagram profile at Christopher_Overkill, where I also have a bunch of content, but where I more or less work with people one-on-one to teach them how to become the best versions of themselves, to reprogram their entire mind, making them believe that the person they want to be is already who they are right now, and develop that killer mindset, an overkill mindset, which basically thinks that there is absolutely no way back. There's either homeless or there's to the top, which is that mindset we want, right, to install into your mind. And then learning everything about modern sales, the best sales strategies the 1% closers in the world are using to use this to get a career opportunity within remote closing to make 5K to 10K per month. Go there right now, DM me the word closer or send me a DM, and I'll personally reply to you with a roadmap or a framework or a way for you to achieve that, and a vision in the matter of 6 to 12 months in general.